Oh, wait. We won't be hearing that for a couple weeks.
Yep. Silence those engines, kids. God, NBC is so stupid.
Oh, you can say that word you wanted to say. That's okay. You can call them a bunch of fucktards, because that's what they are. It is time for your favorite politically incorrect sports commentary podcast. It is Sports Frenzy 2.0. To my right, my brother from another mother, the conquistador, Dave Height.
To my left, my brother from another mother, the maestro, Kevin Crane.
We will be taking a break from NASCAR for 2 weeks because of the Olympics.
Yeah, really? People really care that much about the Olympics that they're not going to watch a NASCAR race?
No, I think people would watch a NASCAR race. The problem is NBC doesn't want any competing coverage because every NBC channel, NBC, USA, Peacock, I'll be shocked if it's not on Sci-Fi Network. Olympics. And if you check into the weekend addiction, well, it
is an addiction.
It should be your addiction. The weekend edition, your addiction for politically incorrect pop culture commentary. I will have a conspiracy theory, a very obvious conspiracy theory about what NBC is doing with their Olympics coverage. I mean, so obvious. It's blatant, duh. Yeah, even 98% of the millennials out there will be able to figure it out. All right, NASCAR, we will wrap things up, put a bow on NASCAR for a couple weeks here as we recap the Brickyard 400. Yes, the return of the oval at Indianapolis. And God forbid they would figure out a way to fuck it up, Dave.
NASCAR knows how to screw things up and create controversy when it's not needed. This was an abysmal finish.
Yeah, and you were worried as we talked off mic prepping for the podcast tonight as we tape here on July the 24th, 2024. This will drop early Thursday morning, the 25th. You didn't think anybody was going to back up our take on this, but I'm telling you, there are people out there who saw the same thing that we saw. The golden child, Kyle Larson, just a few years removed
from being banned for his racist comments in an e-race.
Yeah, and we thought they went overboard on that, and we were backing Kyle Larson 110% on that.
Yeah. No, NASCAR had to make good with, he got hosed with the double because of the rain delay at Indy, and he didn't make it to Charlotte in time for the 600 to climb into the car because we had to call it for rain, so we got to make good.
Yeah, and
balls.
I'm fine with them giving him the waiver on that.
That
didn't bother me at all.
But the way they manipulated the end of this race
to let him kiss the bricks
was bullshit. Before they even came down the front stretch, when they were in between 3 and 4, there was a spin on the back stretch. The car tried to get righted. It couldn't. It stalled out. It bumped against the wall. NASCAR has said time and again, if somebody hits the wall, it doesn't matter the size of the track. We need to throw the caution to make sure we get the safety crew there to check on them. Granted, it wasn't much of a hit, but the car stalled out on the backstretch before they took the white flag.
And this was in overtime.
In overtime. Gas could have been an issue. They should have thrown the yellow by what they said earlier in the year and what they've done before. But no, they go back again because they make up their own fucking rules as they go along. Because they're assholes who manipulate everything that they possibly can.
Yeah, that was Ryan Preece who spun out over 30 seconds between when he spun out, tried to refire the car, over 30 seconds before they decided, let's throw the caution flag. And as you said,
it was after they took the white flag.
Yes. It reeked of manipulation. it reeked of NASCAR deciding who the winner in this was going to be. When the fans wanted to see it play out, it would have been, I believe, a three-man shootout between Tyler Reddick, Kyle Larson, and I think Chase Elliott would have come up because those were the three guys that still had enough gas to run a couple more laps. Everybody else in the top 10 would have had to have pitted.
Larson was going to be the closest because he was running more flat out than even Elliott and Reddick were. Reddick started to follow him, but then kind of backed the pace off just in case there was going to be multiple overtimes and wanted to make sure he was going to be fine on gas. Larson, they were questioning. They probably were not going to be able to make another restart.
Yeah, now the caution that led to overtime screwed Brad Keselowski.
Yeah.
Because he was in the lead, but there was no way he could run another lap once they were going to overtime. He had to duck into the pits.
Yeah.
Which
again, another controversial moment.
Which reset the lineup at the last second.
Because as he's coming forward to fill the gap, Larson's got the head of steam as they throw the green, which hosed Blaney on the restart, allowing Larson to get ahead of him there.
Yep.
Before another caution came out.
And then earlier in the race, now I don't know how you feel about this, but I thought it seemed like Chase Elliott and Brad Keselowski were pretty pissed off about this whole blend rule violation that they both got nailed for. And they claim that NASCAR was not clear in pre-race instructions about what a violation of the blend rule was, because they both got nailed for that, saying that they went too far into the racing surface as they were warming up, getting ready to come out of the pits.
Whatever. NASCAR will do what NASCAR will do. Damn the consequences.
Yep, and then the TV coverage was a train wreck. Again, thanks NBC. I do not understand, and we'll talk about this whole bullshit debacle with the NBA in a few minutes, with their media rights. But how does NASCAR put up with NBC treating them like third, fourth class citizens?
Oh, yeah, for the end of the race. Oh, well, we're running overtime, but we have to cut away on Prime NBC to get to your local news coverage because of the breaking news of President Biden stepping aside. So pick up the race on USA. Yeah, that's well and good for people who have USA, and you fucked over the fans who don't.
Who are watching over the air.
Yeah.
God forbid. There are people out there who still watch over the air. And the race almost started on USA, by the way. I had to switch over to USA at the beginning while they were running the warm-up laps, and then at the very last minute, right before the race started, they said, now we're switching back to NBC, because they had done the initial breaking news about Joe Biden resigning as president or resigning as a candidate for the next election. God help us, it'd be nice if he resigned as president too, because nobody knows how healthy he is, if he's alive, if he's dead.
Supposedly tonight on July 24th, as we're taping, he's supposed to be in the Oval Office. Probably, who knows? I Robo Joe. Not Robo-Bo.
AI Joe?
AI Joe.
Oh, there are so many conspiracy theories floating around out there right now about this whole shit show. And we do not like to.
And that's what politics is right now.
Yeah, we try to stay away as much as we can. Can't always do it. Try to stay as much as we can away from politics. But yeah, conspiracy theories abound. But going back to NASCAR, NBC treats NASCAR like the redheaded stepchild. And I don't understand why NASCAR won't.
Kind of like the way NASCAR treated Tyler Reddick.
It's just pathetic. If I'm running an organization and somebody says, "Yeah, we'll have you as a partner," but then we're gonna dictate to you what your coverage is gonna be, if you're gonna be on the Prime network, if you're gonna be on the secondary network, if you're gonna be on a tertiary network, And then
Yeah.
the Olympics come along, fuck you. You're not even on anymore.
Yep. Bye-bye.
And they just re-upped with them. I don't understand why they would do this.
No reason to have done that. They'd have been better off going to the CW for the cup like they are with Xfinity.
Yeah. Yeah. Go to somebody who'll actually treat you like a top-level customer. That'll give you all the perks and all the love that you think you deserve. I just don't get it. I don't understand what NASCAR is doing, why they take this abuse from NBC. And everybody knows NBC's coverage sucks balls.
They are the worst.
I got so fucking tired of Steve Letart's voice droning on and on and on. I was begging Jeff Burton to talk.
Please, Jeff, save us from the moron.
Oh my God. Jeff Burton has got to step in and say more. Steve Letarte will just talk incessantly, nonstop for an hour if you don't cut in and stop him.
He is the Tony Romo of NASCAR coverage.
Yes. Oh my God, yes. Oh. One little tidbit of NASCAR news before we move on, and I do think towards the end of the show we'll talk a little F1. But that's later. That'll be later. You know what that means.
Funny you should mention that. That's where I have that particular topic as well.
Yeah, I think there might be a couple this week for you and I as we go through this train wreck of a podcast.
We will foreshadow
Yes.
our Red Foreman segment.
But it was official. We reported it here a few weeks ago, said it was coming. Cole Custer will run in the Cup Series in 2025 for the Haas factory team.
There we go.
And I think they put out feelers to Riley Herbst to come in for their Xfinity team, maybe? We don't usually talk Xfinity here, so I'm just throwing that out there. I think I read that. Don't quote me on it.
It's an early silly season rumor.
Yep. Moving on to baseball. The official second half, of course. We're well past the halfway point, but the second half has begun.
Over 100 games into the season.
And our teams still suck.
Yep. White Sox on a 9-game losing streak. No, I think they played this afternoon.
No, they're playing right now.
They're playing right now. So
Yep.
Coming into tonight as we tape, riding a 9-game losing streak, 27-76.
34 and a half games behind Cleveland.
14 games worse than the A's, 10 worse than the Rockies, and 9 worse than the Marlins.
And I mentioned this, I believe, in our group text over the weekend. The White Sox could conceivably, before the end of July, lose enough games where they could guarantee a losing record regardless of if they won every single game in August and September.
Yeah, like that was ever going to happen.
Right, but I'm just saying, they could have 82 losses before August the 1st.
Yeah.
Guaranteeing a losing record regardless of what they do in August and September.
Yep. Yeah, and you made fun of me and Jamie early on when we were saying that they would be lucky to win 50 games.
It's me on the outside looking in. I'm telling you, I did not think they would be this bad. I did not. And if you told me, I'll tell you what, if you told me, showed me the numbers at this point in the season, that Garrett Crochet and Eric Fetty would have had as starting pitchers, I would have said, hell, see, I'm right. There's no way with those two guys at the top of the rotation, they're barely going to win 50 games. Come on. They're doing it. They're somehow figuring it away.
There's no bullpen.
And they're going to trade both of them.
There's no bullpen. There's no other starters. They have no position players.
Well, they do, but the ones that they have are not performing.
They're
Eloy Jimenez is not performing.
Injured.
Yeah.
Luis Roberts finally showing stuff now that he's back and healthy.
Andrew Benintendi, the worst free
Oh
agent
my God,
signing
he
of all
has
time.
been abysmal, which is sad because I was happy when they got him. I'm like, finally, we got a good left fielder who can hit for average with halfway decent power, and he has been since we got him.
I do believe that was the first appearance of the Horn of Disgrace here on Sports Frenzy.
Oh my God, he has been bad.
Well, it looks like both Chicago baseball teams are in sell mode, as Jed Hoyer came out here a few days ago and said any trades the Cubs make will be looking at 2025 and beyond. Can I let the blood pressure go up for a minute? Because I just cannot take it anymore with this team, this Cubs team. 3-game series against the Milwaukee Brewers at Wrigley Field. Pivotal moment where they could have actually told Jed Hoyer, suck balls, dude. We're going to show you what we're made of. No. Do you think they did? The starting pitchers did. Again, the starting pitchers have worked their way up. The ERA for the Cubs pitching staff has improved gradually now, where they're in the top 10 in all of baseball because of the starters. The starters have been exceptional over the last month. Even Kyle Hendricks has been better. But these idiots in the starting lineup, I can't take them anymore. Let me point out to you some statistics from this 3-game series that just wrapped with the Milwaukee Brewers. This afternoon, as we tape, just wrapped. Pitching staff as a whole, not just the starters, but even including the bullpen
has not been bad over the last couple weeks.
They have not. Let me ask you, if I did not tell you who was involved in this, just 2 Major League Baseball teams, the Cubs pitching led up 5 runs in 3 games. 5 runs in 3 games, Dave.
You would have expected to at least have taken 2 out of 3.
That is a sub-2 ERA.
Yeah, you should have won at least 2 of them.
No, they lost 2 out of 3. You know why? Because they can only score 5 fucking runs! Last time I checked, the Milwaukee Brewers rotation does not include Sandy Koufax and Don Drysdale and Bob Gibson. But these fucktards in this lineup that I cannot stand. Trade Christopher Morel now! I cannot believe I can hit a curveball better than him. The man cannot hit an off-speed pitch. I was mad last year when they brought him up late. I was the first guy to say he should have had a full year last year. Now this year he gets, and Craig Counsell, again, I am not going to rip into Craig Counsell in his first year.
No, because Jed Hoyer and his front office pretty much brought back the same damn team that underperformed all of last season.
With Uncle Rossi.
With Uncle Rossi, except for a month when they had a great run to get into contention.
And they had choked.
They had over a 90% chance of making the playoffs. And they reverted back to who they actually are, which is what you have right now. Why, after they choked that away, did you think that you could get a full season to match that month that they had?
Yeah, so basically,
Jed Hoyer is an idiot.
What I'm saying is that I still don't regret going out and getting Craig Counsell. But I think now we have to say it's the players. It's 110% on the players, especially the position players.
Bellinger, Swanson.
Well, Bellinger's back to us, and I know it's been fluky with him getting hit by a pitch and breaking a finger.
But what has he done when he's been in the lineup?
No, not
Jack
much.
Shit.
Not much. Not much.
Dansby Swanson's been a disaster.
Yeah, he's having a bad year. He is having a bad year. say a Suzuki. Oh, all we heard in preseason was, oh, look at the spring training this guy's having. He's setting up for a monster year. Same shit. He's gonna hit 265. He's gonna hit 20 home runs, and he's gonna drive in 70 runs. When do I get a Juan Soto? When do I get an Aaron Judge? When do I get a guy like going just in history of the Cubs? Give me back Andre Dawson in his prime. Give me Ryan Sandberg in his prime. Give me somebody who can hit 35 or 40 home runs, drive in 120 runs, and God help me hit 275. That's all I'm asking. Nobody in the lineup can hit 270. Jesus Christ. And I'm serious. I have changed my tune on Ian Happ. He is no longer my most hated Cub. It is Christopher Morale. Get the fuck rid of him. He literally embarrasses himself every time he steps out of, oh, he can hit 30 home runs.
When?
He makes Dave Kingman look like Tony Gwynn. For the love of Christ. He's hitting 199 right now. 199.
He's under the Mendoza line. For the love of all that's holy, bench his ass.
And you're right. Swanson's having a terrible year. But I'll give him an off year. I will give him one off year.
He had an off year the last half of last season.
He was all right last year. I'll take him any day over Jason Hayward.
Well, that's not saying much, though.
But Mike, and
you have a team of Jason Haywards right now.
They're going to trade the guys I like. They're going to trade Mark Tauchman. They're going to trade Michael Busch. Cheap guys, because we might be able to get... Yeah, because other teams are going to take advantage of the fact that you suck right now. Keep the guys that are cheap, that are performing.
And try and ditch the deadbeats.
Ditch Cody Bellinger.
Because you know his ass is opting in.
The finger will heal. You can convince other teams the finger will heal. And he'll be back. This isn't like he tore a hamstring or broke a shoulder, he will be back. You can convince teams to take him. I wouldn't touch that rotation, though. Don't do it.
Leave the rotation alone. That's the only thing you have going for you.
Even Jamison Tyone, for the love of God, has a sub-3 ERA. He's turned it around after a bad first year a couple years ago. The Cubs right now sit at 49-55, 11 games behind Milwaukee in last place in the NL Central. And then news came out next year, start of 2025, hey, let's send the Cubs over to Japan, where they can get their asses kicked by the Dodgers.
Sure.
Whoop-de-freaking-do.
And why is it the Dodgers always get to play to open up overseas? Oh, wait, because it's Shohei fucking Ohtani.
And that's why they picked the Cubs. Imanaga and Suzuki. Boy, the horn of disgrace is going to get a workout tonight, kids.
Oh, we're just getting started. Hey, you want your 300-hitter roundup?
Yes, I do.
We are down to 11 now hitting. Mr. Kwan leads with 347, Witt Jr. at 340, and a distant third, Shohei Ohtani at 314.
And I was actually, right before you showed up for taping, looking. Now, the numbers don't update necessarily
This
as
is
the games are happening.
This is as of last night, 7:23.
Right. I think they might have added a 12th. The Padres
from this afternoon.
Jerks and Profar.
But I am not doing mid.
No, I know. I'm just saying.
Because people can come up and down day to day. But as of the end of play on July 23rd, that's what you got.
And I still don't like that Kwan has played so many fewer games.
He's played 72 games, and I think Witt is at like 106.
Witt should be the batting champion. I'm sorry. And the ESPN stats are all screwed up because they'll pull that crap where they'll say Quan somehow is eligible, but with pitching, oh my God, they're like requirements for a pitcher to qualify for the ERA title.
Yeah, well, look how long it took Quan to get up there.
I still don't like it.
No, but there you go.
You know what else we didn't like, Dave? Even though we've already covered this territory, it was made official this past weekend. The Hall of Fame induction.
Blah, blah, blah.
This year's class, Jim Leland. Now, I don't have a
Should be
problem
in.
with Jim Leland.
Leland should be in.
Adrian Beltre should be in. Joe Mauer. And
No.
Todd Helton.
No. Mauer and Helton should not be in.
This is just like the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, man. I'm telling you, it is just like the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. You and I could come up with probably 7 to 10 guys who should be in, non-steroid guys, who should be in ahead of Helton and Mauer. Mark Burley, obviously.
Yep.
Gary Sheffield.
Why the hell isn't Sheffield in?
Curt Schilling because of his
because
politics.
That's bullshit.
That's Schilling should be the first one in out of all these guys we're talking about. But Burley, Schilling, Sheffield, how are they not in ahead of Todd Helton and Joe Mauer?
I got nothing. Absolute crap.
Injuries. Big names. Now, of course, Dave is very happy about one injury in particular. Future Hall of Famer.
Yes, I'm Nelsoning Mr. Mike Trout. Gah! Has his first rehab start in the minors. Has to leave the game in the second inning because of knee soreness. Now, he has been pulled from his rehab stint to reevaluate his knee from the torn meniscus. What a...
You could say it again.
What a fucking China doll pansy bitch.
There you go. Let it out, Dave. Let it out. It's politically incorrect. We are labeled as explicit. You can say it.
In the
Let
last...
it out.
My God. In the last, 3 years, he hasn't even played half the games.
And Anthony Rendon is back, though, for the Angels.
Oh, whoop-de-doo, so he can continue to underperform?
Yeah, the guy who says he doesn't really prioritize baseball.
There's your problem with guaranteed contracts. This guy should have been cut. He is useless.
And Mike Trout, when he goes into the Hall of Fame, and he will...
By default.
People will start
he's
slobbering all over.
generational talent. He was the... Yeah. How long did he actually fucking play?
And when do we start looking at winning? In terms of, I know you can call me a hypocrite because my man Andre Dawson won the MVP and the Cubs were a last place team. But when does winning actually start to matter? Joe Mauer did not win with the Twins. Right? Kirby Puckett did.
Yeah.
Joe Mauer did not. Todd Helton, what the hell did he do with the Rockies?
Oh, he hit well in Coors Field, but couldn't hit anywhere else.
I just don't understand. And Mike Trout obviously has what? A couple playoff wins?
Yeah.
Was he even on that team when they won with Mike Scioscia? I don't even think that he was in the league yet, was he?
Maybe No. No, I don't think he was.
I'm telling you, the NFL has got it right. The NFL is the only sport that I think actually understands you don't let everybody in, you only let the best of the best in.
And League Baseball used to be the elitist snobs.
Really exclusionary, yeah. But now, ever since they let Scott Rowland in, and they won't put in the steroid guys.
And they're still ignoring guys who should be in ahead of these putzes.
And they still won't forgive Pete Rose. Which I guess there's a documentary hitting Max here. If it's not out there already, it's coming soon. a documentary about Pete Rose. Pete Rose should be in the Hall of Fame. Fuck the gambling stuff. Seriously. Pete Rose, arguably the greatest hitter of all time.
Because as a player, he should be in. It's what he did as a manager that should not detract from his accomplishments as the player.
Amen. Amen. And I put him in before the steroid guys.
Yeah, because what he did was after his playing career.
Lots of other...
That's the big difference.
Yes. Lots of other big names on the injury front. Some of them will impact the trade deadline deals next week. Next week. When we're doing our July 31st episode, that is going to be pressure-packed trade deadline day for Major League Baseball.
We will be having the internet running and tracking what's going on while we are doing this segment.
Yeah, but right now, injuries. Toronto, Bo Bichette, who was a big name,
on the trade market,
possibly to be traded, goes to the 10-day IL with a calf strain. The Braves are starting to really, they cannot sustain with all of these injuries. My God,
No.
They are getting shellacked. I mean, they've already lost Acuna for the year. They lost Spencer Strider for the year. Now, they lose Ozzie Albies with a fractured wrist for 8 weeks.
They are in trouble.
And they lose their best pitcher, Max Fried, forearm issues to the IL as well. And they are starting to show the cracks. They're starting to fall back, believe it or not, into the clutches of the Mets.
Yeah, who have actually been playing pretty well of late.
Yeah, who would have thought that a month and a half ago?
Yeah.
And then the Brewers, as long as they're playing the Cubs, they're okay. They don't have to score a lot of runs. But Christian Yelich to the IL with back issues.
There you go. Another guy who was supposed to have been the next great player, again, injured.
And then Julio Rodriguez, the young phenom for the Seattle Mariners. He's got ankle issues. He goes to the IL, and the Mariners are scuffling big time. Oh, did you notice, Dave, who took over first place in the American League West?
Gee, who would that be?
That might be the Houston Astros.
Who sucked coming out of the gate. They were bad in the first quarter. They found themselves. They dumped Jose Abreu. They shifted players around. They have found their stride.
Meet the new boss, same as the old boss.
The cream rises to the top.
And I do believe that you and I both picked the Astros to make the World Series.
I do believe we did.
Now, we also, I think, picked the Braves, so...
Well, that was before all the injuries hit them.
Yes, as I refer to our predictions. No, I was the idiot that took the Braves. I have the Braves and the Astros with the Braves winning. So I'm screwed. You had the Dodgers and the Astros with the Astros winning. So you're in better shape.
I'm still in.
You're in better shape than me.
You're out, Jerry.
Yeah, the Astros, I have faith in. The Braves right now, it's too much.
Yeah.
It's too much in terms of injuries for them to deal with. And I don't even know if they can make any kind of significant trade deadline deals to help this team like they did in the past.
There's nothing there for them to do.
Yeah. Other MLB headlines, I'm thinking ahead to the NFL, which will be coming in a few minutes. Finally, a couple things in MLB to wrap things up. The Red Sox give manager Alex Cora a 3-year extension through 2027.
And promptly wet themselves out in Colorado, losing to the Rockies this afternoon of the 24th, 20-7.
Yep, and he actually got paid as well. He will be behind Craig Counsell, the second highest paid manager, making $7.25 million a year. We have another cycle. Astros, Yordan Alvarez hit for the cycle in Seattle back on July the 21st. And hey, Dave.
Hey, Kev.
The Pittsburgh Pirates actually let Paul Skeens pitch into the 9th inning.
Whoa, say it ain't so.
And he lost. And
No.
it was almost like a Cubs-esque performance by the Pirates. Paul Skeens, the rookie phenom, who I think has already got Rookie of the Year locked up, loses his first game, loses 2-1 to the Cardinals, pitches 8 1/3 innings, gives up 2 earned runs, 4 hits, no walks, 8 strikeouts.
And his team can't score enough runs against the frickin' Cardinals.
Yeah, I mean, the Cardinals right now are a borderline wild card team, but they're not a juggernaut.
No, not even close.
All right, some sad news. I didn't really want to save this for moments of silence. I still have not heard a follow-up on this yet. I'm hoping there's no foul play involved, but the wife of Yankees special advisor Omar Minaya, her name is Rachel Minaya, found dead at their home in New Jersey at the age of 55. And again, I still have not heard any word. They have ruled out suicide, but 55 is very young for natural causes.
We've seen it before.
Yeah.
Could have been a heart issue, could have been a stroke. We just don't know.
Yeah, that's great, Dave. Thanks a lot, because I'm well over 55.
I'm knocking on the door.
Yeah, you're right there. So thanks a lot. Thanks for bringing everybody in the audience, 55 and over, down.
Facts of life.
One last thing. I'm going to propose something to you. God knows the podcast already runs long enough as it is. But I think once in a while we should kind of throw in significant anniversaries. If something happened on the day we're taping in the past that's very, very important.
Well, yeah, we need to recognize that.
Well, okay, I didn't, because I know you're on a time crunch a lot of the time, so I didn't want to push again a couple
as
extra
long
minutes.
as I'm not getting home at 2 a.m.
This one's a big one. On this day, 41 years ago, July the 24th, 1983, the infamous George Brett Pine Tar game.
Oh my God, I can still see him storming out of the dugout, ready to destroy the umpire.
Now, those of us in that age group that we just talked about, those of us about to die.
We'll get to that show in the weekend edition, by the way.
Those about to die. The Roman epic starring Anthony Hopkins. But the visual, yes. We all have that firmly implanted in our brains with George Brett, going nuclear. But
mild-mannered George Brett.
Such a great guy. And next to Pete Rose, he's right there with Rod Carew, Tony Gwynn, as the greatest hitters I ever saw. I don't know how you feel, but
he's one of the top.
You would defer to Frank Thomas, obviously.
He's up there with them.
Yep. And yes, we're not going back to players that we
are
never
going
saw.
To our
we didn't
era
see
of
Willie Mays.
watching.
We didn't see Babe Ruth. We didn't see Ted Williams, okay? We're talking about
who we actually personally have seen.
Mid to late 70s on. But something else, very interesting little side note on
I'll throw
that.
Paul Molitor in there too.
Yes. Yeah, Paul Molitor was a damn good hitter. Yep. And again, that's why we do the countdown every week, or the look at how many 300 hitters we got, is because these guys would hit 300 like it was nothing, and now it's a struggle. It's a struggle for these guys to hit 300.
And they weren't just hitting 300, they were hitting 320 to 340 on a consistent basis.
Or more.
Or more.
Yeah, or better. But did you know that that game was the last successful protest in Major League Baseball where the protesting team won? The Royals did protest the game, did get a redo, and came from behind and beat the Yankees. I believe that's who they beat. I'm pretty sure, 99% sure. Now,
Good for them.
There have been a couple other games protested since then. I think the last one was 10 years ago involving the Cubs and the Giants. The last couple have been because the protesting team claimed the umpires called the game because of rain too soon.
Yeah.
They went and they finished the game and they still lost. The protesting team still lost.
Yeah.
So this game, the Brett Pine-Tar game, was the last one where the protesting team actually came back and won. Now we move on to the NFL. Next week, David. Next week. August the 1st, next Thursday, the Caleb Williams era begins.
The Hall of Fame
He probably
game.
won't play.
He probably won't play. It'll be Tyson Bagent, or as they call him, Teabag.
But yes, football officially returns on August the 1st.
And my God, as Bears fans, dare we actually have some semblance of excitement for the beginning of a season?
Oh, I think so. Although I'm getting a little pissed off about all this love all of a sudden that Will Levis is getting. Because, of course, we play the Titans at home.
Well, they have to try and hype up the Titans for the Week 1 matchup. Really, Will Levis? What did he freaking do last year?
Yeah, I'm seeing all these people. Ooh, he's going to be a sleeper. He's going to be the sleeper
for the MVP.
He had one good game last year.
He could be
one
your
good
MVP.
Game. If the Bears are smart, and yes, that's you, Matt Eberflus. If the Bears are smart, they should win that game hands down, no issues. If you can't stop Tony fucking Pollard, one of the banes of my existence on my fantasy team last year.
Shame
By the way,
on
did you see I changed my fantasy football?
No, I have not
team?
been on the site yet.
I changed my name.
Of course you did.
I have my name locked in. Costanza's hairpiece.
That's better than Costanza's codpiece.
I got that glorious picture of him leaning against the bar at Monk's.
Nice.
Remember the scene?
Yes, I do.
How you doing? Your life all right?
Lovely.
And then, of course, later on, Elaine grabbed, I hate this thing, and here's what I'm going to do with it. That's my new theme now. I used to do the rock and roll stuff for years and years. Started
now
last
we're going
year,
sitcom.
Classic TV. Last year was The Wrath of Gilligan. Classic TV names now for the next decade.
There you go. I know, I'm still contemplating what I'm going to come up with.
Yeah, I hope all the pinheads, not you, in our league realize that they can just go in and start messing around.
I know, you and I are the only ones who change the name consistently.
Yeah, I mean, they don't have to be invited anymore. I just open the league and it's there.
And there you go.
So I changed the
Nobody
name.
changes their names.
Yeah.
Just us.
Well, Mrs. C can't.
She can't. Mark
She's
Time
locked in.
is...
Mark Time's a classic. We have to keep Mark Time. That's a national treasure or treasures?
Treasures.
Sorry. Getting a little too intimate here. All right, last couple things here.
They're real and they're spectacular.
Before we... Another Seinfeld reference. There you go. Of course, next week we will really start hitting the NFL hard and heavy. But for now, just a couple things. And then we'll move on to what we've got in other sports, the NBA, college football.
What the hell are these quarterbacks thinking? Holding out demanding money. Jacksonville fucked everything up, giving Trevor Lawrence that amount of money for doing jack shit, for regressing. And now Tua's looking to want to get paid.
Jordan Love.
Jordan Love is sitting out until he gets paid. He had one season so far.
And why do
One season.
Why does everybody have to be a goddamn lemming? Well, Trevor Lawrence. Just because one stupid idiot does something doesn't mean you have to fall him off the cliff. Like the Cowboys are a great example. The Cowboys are in a bad situation
Now what,
right
Dak
now.
wants 60?
Plus
For what?
CD Lamb isn't
CD
reporting
Lamb,
yet.
he's not
Micah
reporting at all.
Parsons. And you've got
Dallas is screwed.
And you've got a lame duck head coach who you wonder if, the man in charge really wants him. Speaking of which,
He's
segue.
still dealing with his paternity issue.
Yeah, the Cowboys had to push their season opening news conference from Wednesday, today the 24th, to this coming Saturday because Jerry Jones, old Jerry, is stuck. Now they're doing the training camp in California. Kind of counterintuitive. But I believe Jerry Jones stuck back in Arkansas.
Dealing with his paternity issue.
Yeah, he's got to testify.
Testicular fi?
Yeah. So, and I don't understand what the whole point of this is. Do a DNA test.
He doesn't want it.
He should have to do a DNA test. I don't understand what the big deal is. Unless he's scared
Jerry,
to death.
if you are legitimately not her father,
Why would you be scared?
Take the test and get it over with.
Why would you be? I would take a paternity test right now for anybody and everybody. I know I'd be in the clear pretty much, given my lack of promiscuity, but...
You know what? By failing to take it, he's guilty as fuck.
Just find that very funny. Now, speaking of another, this time a former Cowboy, a guy who never really reached his potential. There was a year or two in there a few years ago where you thought he might ascend, especially when Amari Cooper went to Cleveland. And we'll get to him in a second. But you thought Michael Gallup might actually ascend to that number one slot before they got CD Lamb.
Yeah.
And he has decided to call it quits and retire at 28 years of age.
Yeah, kind of in the prime for a wide receiver.
Yep, he played 6 seasons with the Cowboys, just signed a contract with the Las Vegas Raiders, and says, "No, I'm good. I'm done." There you go. But if that's what he wants to do, good for him. If that's his life choice, who are we to argue? But yeah, I would say a guy who potential was never fully realized.
Yeah, he was one of those who just missed getting open and was not consistent in holding on to the ball.
Yeah, he was always a good number 2 guy. But he was never made out. Didn't have the makeup to be that number 1 receiver.
Yeah, he didn't have the hands.
Yep. So I did mention Amari Cooper. Now, let me bounce
Overrated.
this off you. But let me bounce this off of you. We're talking about all these holdouts, in training camp and guys who want more money, whether it's quarterbacks or other guys. Amari Cooper and Matthew Stafford. I will single these two out. This is the way you should do this. Okay? Now, honestly, you and I would believe in a regular, sane world. You play the contract you signed, and then you sign a new one, or if you're not playing well enough, you sign one for less money. That would be the normal, sane way to do things. That
should be how business is done.
But I will say this. This is the closest we're going to get to sanity. Okay? Matthew Stafford goes to the Rams, says, "Listen, I'm not asking for a new deal, but I got a couple years left on my current deal. Guaranteed money doesn't exist. Can we rework this so I'm healthy. I want to stay here for the next couple years, but I'm not going to stay here for no guarantees. So they gave him guaranteed money. I don't know how much.
This point in his career, does it really matter? Probably not.
But he didn't ask for an extension. He didn't ask for a long-term deal. He just said, can we make some of that money coming up in the next couple of years guaranteed? Okay? I think you guys could see the way that I'm thinking here. You kind of owe me that.
Yeah, he's a compiler. He got them
a Super Bowl.
What they needed.
And now the same thing with Amari Cooper. Did the exact same thing. He said, I'm going into the last year of my deal. You guys, I'm not asking for an extension. Let's just make this guaranteed so that next year we can go our separate ways. Or if you like the way I play after this season, then we can talk.
Then let's talk.
See, those two I get.
That's fine.
Those two negotiations I understand.
That's fine. And I don't know if I would do that for Cooper, but I've never been a big Amari Cooper fan. I always thought he was overrated.
Well, here's the problem. It's not Amari Cooper's fault. We're talking about how the market got reset with Trevor Lawrence. You could say the same thing about Justin Jefferson and the wide receiver market.
Oh my God, that was fucking stupid.
So Amari Cooper asking for $20 million to be guaranteed isn't all that ridiculous, given how much Justin Jefferson got.
Right.
The highest non-quarterback in the league.
Which CeeDee Lamb wants to top.
Exactly.
And he's not worth it either.
This is the psycho circus we're dealing with.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, CeeDee Lamb, you are not worth that kind of money either.
I still think, as you and I have said, ever since this whole ridiculous cycle of overpaying players started a year or two ago.
Oh, it started before that.
But it's gotten worse. It's in a ridiculous spiral right now.
It's gotten worse.
Where we're talking about quarterbacks wanting 55, 60 million, receivers wanting 35, 40 million. How are you going to pay? And then the running backs complain, why aren't we getting paid? Well, tell your quarterbacks and your wide receivers to stop taking up half the goddamn salary cap.
Exactly.
One final thing before we move on. Your team kind of got a little bit stuck. Got in a little bit of a quandary here. The Dolphins, when I say his team, I'm
my
talking
secondary.
About, yes, like my Buccaneers, his Dolphins. We are Bears fans.
Yes, it's our Bears, his Bucks, my Dolphins.
There you go. Thank you for explaining that to the kids, Dave. Former Buccaneer. Loved him, loved him, loved him. Kind of similar to Michael Gallup in that Shaq Barrett, linebacker extraordinaire for the Buccaneers, after signing a deal with the Dolphins, decided, I'm done. I'm retiring. Two-time Super Bowl champion with the Bucs in 2020, with Denver in 2015, calls it quits, kind of leaving the Dolphins in the lurch. So a guy they had cut, Emmanuel Ogbah, they had to bring back on a one-year deal worth upwards of $5 million. I have a homework project for you, by the way. There is an unbelievable AI quote out there, and if you did not tell anybody it was AI of your head coach, Mike McDaniel, talking about Tyreek Hill, comparing his speed and his versatility as a receiver to how many children he has.
Oh, God.
Now, this is AI. Somebody came up with this, but the fact is, it sounds exactly. This is the danger of AI, I'm telling you. This is the problem. It's if you tell somebody, a Dolphins fan, you find this, you play this for a Dolphins fan,
you'll think it's Mike McDaniel.
Yeah, you say, do you hear what your coach said about Tyreek Hill? Here, play it for him. They'll never know. And he's talking about he's got to work on his pull-out skills.
Oh!
Because of all the kids he's got.
Oh, my God.
Just fun stuff.
All right, we're going to stick with our football theme here as we transition into college football on Spotify, Pocket Cast, Apple, Overcast, Castbox, Amazon, Audible, and iHeart Sports Frenzy, baby.
Otherwise known, of course, as iHeartRadio. We are in love with each and every one of our platforms that carries us, as you should be as well. You have options, you have choices. That's what it's all about in life.
And don't forget the Facebook page.
We're getting very, very close. As Dave said, we're talking college football. We just talked NFL, to posting our weekly football picks.
You get our baseball and NASCAR right now. Well, not NASCAR for 2 weeks. Screw you, NBC.
All right, again, this is going to be light week for the NFL and a light week for college football, but it's going to start ramping up real soon. The University of Alabama, in tribute to Nick Saban, has decided to call the field. I hate when they do this crap. God, I hate
Nick
this.
Saban Field at
Bryant-Denny Stadium. God, 3 times already.
And
The
we may
horn
not be
disgrace.
done yet.
I mean, it's just too much. It's just too much.
It's
and then when do you
stupid.
add the sponsorship in? Progressive presents Saban Field
At Bryant
Yeah,
Denny Stadium.
yeah. I could see that coming down the
Oh
road.
my God. You know, speaking of Nick Saban, I don't know that we covered it previously, but during SEC Media Day, my Clint Eastwood badass is the security guard who did not let Nick Saban into the event without his media credentials. I applaud the guy for sticking to the rules.
And doing his job, goddammit. No, we did not cover that, so there you go.
So Saban had to go back up to his hotel room to get his credentials, as he should have. Kudos to the security guards for doing their job.
Yeah, because you don't know, that could have been Ethan Hunt with one of those Mission Impossible masks.
You know, maybe the guy's not a football fan. Or maybe
That could be true. That could be
maybe
true.
he's not an Alabama fan. You've given credentials for a reason. Your face does not get you into places where you shouldn't probably be.
Speaking of media days, there is an image, and I hate to do this. I just did this with Dave, I know, saying listen to the audio clip of the fake Mike McDaniel. I'm going to do it again. There's a picture out there, a glorious, awesome picture. Big Ten Media Days happening right now down in Indianapolis. Oregon announced their arrival to the Big Ten in a big way. They put a huge inflated Oregon duck in White River in downtown Indianapolis. In this picture, you kids have got to look this up. This is awesome. Kudos to Oregon for this.
Oh, that's brilliant.
Oh, the picture is awesome. Picture is awesome. Of course, Dave and
Did
I...
they put it at the Riverwalk?
All I know is the picture I saw, it's right up against one of the bridges.
Okay.
But it is fantastic.
Oh, that's brilliant.
And then, of course, we talked about the CW trying to make inroads into big-time sports. Controversial hire for the CW. Oh, Dave just saw the picture. Dave just saw the picture of the duck
That
down
is
in Indianapolis.
awesome.
I'm telling you, kids, you got to go out there and check
Oh
this
yeah,
out.
it's down near the zoo.
Where we're going to be
Where
this
we're
weekend.
going to be near White River Park, right near the NCAA offices.
Yep.
So yes, I know exactly where that picture was taken. That is brilliant.
Yep. And we reference White River Park because next week on the weekend edition, we will have our review of Pat Benatar live from the amphitheater there.
Yes, looking forward to that one.
Now, the controversial hire I just mentioned for the CW. Now, of course, they're getting college football. They will be covering the Pac-2. And I still don't understand why they don't just merge those two teams into the Mountain West and make that potentially the 5th big power conference again.
Yeah,
But we have to run everything, Dave.
It's sad because they should go with the Mountain West teams and still retain the Pac-12 name.
That's still possible. They've got 2 years. They have got 2 years.
That's what needs to be done because the Pac-12 is a Power 5 conference.
I mean, San Diego State, bring them in. Utah State, I believe.
Yeah,
Don't quote me on Utah State. Definitely San Diego State.
You've got the teams there to be legit.
Yeah. Yeah. And they still have 2 years in order to make this work. And I don't care whether it is the Pac-12 or it becomes the Mountain West, and the Mountain West becomes the big boy out west. Whatever. Make it work. Because we need alternatives to all this idiocy that's going on here with the Big Ten now coast to coast. And the SEC and the ACC having... ACC's also coast to coast now, too, with Stanford.
Yeah, it just got stupid.
Anyway,
I like my regional conferences.
Yeah. Anyway, the controversial hire. Tom Brenneman will be the CW's primary play-by-play announcer for their top college football games. Now, if you remember, he had the issue, believe with the Reds, when he was doing play-by-play for the Reds, where he uttered that gay slur.
Yeah.
When I think he thought he was off mic, but it was a hot mic. Hot mic!
Hot mic tape.
But all is forgiven, it seems like. So,
why isn't that convenient?
Hey, I'll tell you what.
Why not? Everybody else gets a pass.
Kyle Larson got forgiven.
You got a pass.
So, you get a pass. You get a pass.
How about we don't cancel, period, end of conversation?
Yes, no cancel culture, for the love of God. I am done with that shit. All right, on to the WNBA, and then we'll go on to the NBA.
How many games did you watch last week, Kev?
I watched 10 minutes of the All-Star game. That's all I watched. And, of course, the All-Star game, I will say I am happy for the outcome because I have told you I hate Diana Taurasi. She's an angry lesbian. I don't like her. And it was glorious and great. When I woke up the next day and saw the box score, again, only watched the first 10 minutes. I didn't see Angel Reese play at all for Team WNBA. So she must have come in later. And they pulled Caitlin Clark pretty quick, too. But
yeah, they said the two of them actually played very well as teammates when they were out there. Because they interviewed Reese and she goes, Caitlin and I have been rivals, but we know we're going to be teammates in All-Star games and hopefully in the Olympics in 4 years. And I know the way she plays, I'm looking for the pass from her for the assist. And I guess they had a good rapport going up and down the court.
Yeah, because Team WNBA beat Team USA, the team going to the Olympics. 117 to 109. So there you go. The ones that were shunned.
They said, stick it.
Beat Team Lesbian. I mean Team USA with Diana Taurasi and Brittany Griner.
Pops Griner.
Oh, yeah, now all of a sudden she's so proud to drape herself in the United States flag after she kneeled for the anthem and after, she had to beg our government to get her out of her self-inflicted trouble over in Russia. Now she's okay draping herself in the U.S. Hypocritic bitch! I can't stand people like her. Now it's all, I'm a patriot. Yeah, kiss my ass. Now, Caitlin Clark, of course, not on the team, but right before the break, recorded 19 assists back on July the 17th, a record already for her, most assists in a game in WNBA history. And then, of course, part of this is going to be a segue here, kids, into the NBA. part of the negotiated NBA media rights deal. $2.2 billion 11-year media rights deal for the WNBA, kind of included and folded in to this NBA deal. Now, the WNBA does have additional partners out there, which...
That's what she said.
Well, they're all lesbians, Dave. But they've also got some deals on the side with CBS and ION Network where they can continue to carry games as well. That could bring the value of this up to almost $3 billion. And there's still some people out there saying this is still undervaluing what the WNBA has become.
Yeah, and they're looking to expand to a 44-game season.
Yep. Now, as I mentioned, this was all folded in to the NBA media rights deal.
Still being supplemented.
Now, number one, we fucking told you so. We told you that TNT, Warner Brothers Discovery, was going to match Amazon Prime's part of the new media rights deal. But this I find fascinating. The NBA news breaks today after Warner Brothers Discovery said they were going to match the $1.8 billion part of the deal for Amazon, said, nah, fuck you. We want Amazon. Kiss our ass, go away.
Long-term partner.
You never should have put
fucking your fans over to go to a streaming service. I hope you're fucking happy, you greedy pricks.
Number one, you never should have put it in the last media rights deal that you were going to let the current partners
have
match,
a chance to match.
Because if you weren't going to let them, why
was it in there?
And of course, Warner Brothers Discovery now exploring legal options. As well they should.
Let's call it out. Breach of contract right there.
This is like Adam Silver, God help me, he would never have a good-looking woman on his arm. But the alien. But this is like having a pretty good-looking woman and you propose to her and you say, let's get married, and you put the ring on her finger, and then 5 days later you find out a hotter chick
proposes to you.
Yeah, and you take that ring, rip it off the one girl's finger and put it on the new girl's finger. That's not how you do things. That is not how normal people do things. And now I am not a lawyer. I only play one on this podcast. But I have got to believe that Warner Brothers Discovery, if they're willing to pony up the money for lawyers, because they have been very cheap and very frugal lately.
Oh, come on. They've shelved enough movies and gotten the write-offs. They got the money.
Yes, they have, but I would just like to see if they are willing to follow through on this. They have the best halftime show, pre-post game of all time with Shaq, Kenny, Charles.
Oh, they're great.
You cannot let this fall by the wayside just because of the shiny new streaming toy that Adam Silver is obviously obsessed with Amazon.
You don't need to put it on Amazon.
And the minute the news broke today, Amazon on their website, their main page, NBA coming to Prime 2025. Man, the Horn of Disgrace is really getting a workout today.
Gonna have to clean that fucker out.
I'm rooting for Warner Brothers Discovery.
So am I. Screw this streaming bullshit.
Yeah, I mean, yes, there will be some games that will end up on Max, but a lot of it will still be on TNT. Basic cable. I'm kind of sick. I love Amazon. Don't get me wrong.
But guess what? I'm not watching sports on Amazon.
And at some point, this is going to come back to roost on the Amazon customers because they're going to up the membership for Prime.
And you're going to have to sit through more fucking ads.
All right, in actual on-court news, Russell Westbrook will sign with the Denver Nuggets after being traded to the Utah Jazz from the Clippers. And, of course, then there was a buyout involved. So, once again, the players get whatever they want whenever they want it.
And really, do you want Westbrook seriously at this point?
There are some people that'll say, oh, this will make them top contenders.
If he plays.
He's got to be getting really up there in years, right?
I would not take him, period.
But somebody we would take as a head coach, Tom Thibodeau.
Tibbs
gets a 3-year extension with the Knicks. This was a no-brainer. He will remain, unless they want to buy out that contract, eat it. He will remain head coach of the Knicks through 2027, 2028. Good for Tibbs. I always like Tibbs.
Yep, he is one of those solid old school coaches.
Yep, gotta like him. Gotta like Tibbs. All right, if you did not know, we alluded to it with our NASCAR rants a couple times, but if you did not know, technically today, as we tape on July the 24th, the Olympics have begun. And there's already issues with soccer.
Gee, there's a shock.
Now, remember, I believe it was last week, maybe the week before, where I mentioned that I didn't understand why soccer isn't a bigger deal with the Olympics. I found out why. FIFA puts in all these rules and regulations that they do not allow basically the top players to play in the Olympics. So even though there is soccer in the Olympics,
FIFA's
only 2 of the top 100 players are playing in the Olympics because of FIFA rules and regulations and how they make it too hard for these players. Basically, I am not a soccer expert, but one of the big rules is all the players pretty much have to be under the age of 23. So the veteran players around the world, Messi, all those guys,
they don't get to
they're
play.
too old. They're too old. But there was a soccer riot right off the bat.
No!
Yes, they had to delay one of the initial soccer games today, just as the Olympics were starting, because of soccer hooligans protesting a call.
Which teams?
I do not even
South
have it
American?
written down.
Like the Copa idiots?
They're all idiots, Dave. I'm sorry. If you're a soccer fan, number one, you shouldn't be listening to this goddamn podcast. Because we're not talking about soccer, and when we do, it's about bullshit like this, where we rip the sport to shreds. Because you're a bunch of immature, petulant dickheads
Who don't know how to behave.
Go get liquored up at home. Stop getting liquored up and going to soccer games.
What else are you going to do during a soccer game except drink because it's so fucking boring?
This is true. This is true. You know what's not boring, Dave? Arena League football. Yes, it's still around. Arena League football is still around, and this past weekend we had Arena Bowl 33, where Billings topped Albany 46-41. But you know what made it? And I'm going to do another visual thing. I'm going to do it again. Way to go, Maestro Podcast.
Picture, if you will.
There's video out there. That's all I'm going to say. They played Arena Bowl 33 inside a New Jersey shopping mall. The video is awesome. Awesome. They basically played it in the center court of the American Dream shopping mall in New Jersey. You got people up on the second floor looking down on the field.
Wow.
Great video out there, kids. Got to look it up. And then we move on to the Tour de France. The Tour de France.
Really? It's actually going on with the Olympics?
It's done. It just ended.
Oh. See, I never even heard anything about it going on.
they just-
With the Olympic build-up, nobody gave a shit about the tour.
Yep, they just wrapped it up this past Sunday. I'm going to butcher this guy's name. I don't care. Even though he is only the 9th three-time Tour de France winner in history, Tajay Pokaga is your Tour de France winner.
Okay.
Now we get into some good stuff. And then after this, I'm going to piss you off. Yes, I do love to give Dave a little bit of forewarning before I'm going to piss him off.
That way I can try and get my blood pressure under control.
Yes. The British Open, the last of the 4 golf majors for the year, wrapped up as well this past Sunday.
Tiger, 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 how'd you do? Oh, wait, you didn't.
Tiger and Rory both missed the cut.
Yes.
Tiger 14 over. Rory 11 over. Both missed the cut for the weekend, and we were all better for it.
Yes, yes, we were.
They played the British Open this year. Yes, not the Open Championship.
It's the British Open, damn it.
They played it this year at Royal Troon. And Xander Schauffele with an impressive 6 under on Sunday. I watched it. The man has ice water right now in his veins. He's on one of those runs.
Schauffele and Scheffler.
Yeah, this year, I'll tell you what, I think the 3 best golfers in the world, now they're all Americans, 3 best golfers in the world won the 4 majors: Schauffele, Scheffler, DeChambeau.
There you go.
So Xander Schauffele, 9 under overall, 6 under on Sunday. That is called clutch golf. Wins his 2nd major of his career and his 2nd of the year. Shane Lowry had a very interesting tournament. Shane Lowry looked like he was in control on Saturday through 7 holes. He was 8 under. Then until Sunday through the 3rd hole, he shot 8 over. Then he came back and shot 4 under his last 15 holes. That's a roller coaster ride, kids.
Man.
The USA, as I mentioned, swept all 4 majors here in 2024. The first time that has happened in 42 years. How about that?
Damn.
USA! USA! Now, I do want to give Xander Schauffele my badass of the week for this statistic. He becomes the 7th player ever in history to win 2 or more majors and finish in the top 10 in all 4 majors in 1 year.
Consistency.
Yes, unbelievable year for Xander Schauffele. Top 10 in all 4 majors, winning 2 of them. And the names, I didn't write them all down, but you know, these are the greatest golfers. Watson did it. Tiger did it. Arnold Palmer, the biggest names.
You get the picture.
Yeah. Yep. Now, you ready for me to piss you off?
Sure, why not?
You probably know this. Being the insightful man, research, delving into things. My lone NHL headline of the week. The Edmonton Oilers have hired their new GM and executive vice president. That is one Stan Bowman.
Oh, all you Edmonton fans, be prepared to see that team get destroyed. Watch the salary cap get obliterated. Prepare for the insane stupidity of a guy who has no fucking clue what he's doing.
You handled that much better than I thought you would. You really did. I'm proud of you.
He's a piece of shit. He's a moron.
Now, are you gonna say the same thing if Quenneville gets hired?
He's a clueless old man who doesn't get it.
Because I imagine somebody's going to give him a shot as a head coach.
Probably, but he just doesn't get it.
And who's the third guy who they lifted the suspension for?
Oh, was it McDonald? Another of their top office people?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just figured, again, you handled that very well.
Yeah, because I know the resurgence of the Blackhawks in the late leading up to their big run for cups was established by former player, former broadcaster Dale Talon when he was the GM. And Scotty Bowman, coming in as a special advisor after retiring from head coach in Detroit, came in and decided, oh, I'm going to manipulate things to get my son Stan into the GM role. There was a lot of bullshit politics going on that fucked Dale Talon over, but Talon was the architect behind the rise of the Blackhawks.
And plus, I guess in the end, you look at it and you say, at least it's not my problem anymore.
There
right?
you go.
Well, I took a shot at making your Uncle Dave angry, and it didn't really work, but that's okay. We're getting close to our favorite segment each and every week. Here, we'll first cover moments of silence, and then, of course, we will get into the Red Foreman dumbasses of the week, which I know at some point among these 6 contestants, your Uncle Dave will get upset. It's almost guaranteed.
Almost.
All right, but very significant moment of silence for me personally. I was down in Orlando for 10 years in the Orlando area. Watched the rise of the Orlando Magic. Got to see Penny and Shaq. Also got to see them play great players like Alonzo Mourning, Larry Johnson, and Hakeem Olajuwon. And it would not have been possible if not for Pat Williams. Pat Williams, one of the most likable, smart men in sports history. And I am not overstating that.
No.
For a time, I believe he worked for the Bulls.
76ers helped put that 83 championship team together.
Yep. Pat Williams, I cannot say enough good things about him and how he believed in Orlando. He believed in that area. He fought to get the Magic into Orlando. They have been a successful franchise ever since. He fought to get soccer in there. Yes, I know we don't like soccer, but for the community, for the city, he got that done, helped to get that done, and he was working at the time of his death trying to get baseball into Orlando as well. And believe me, I think if God had given him 5 more years, he would have got it done. Whether it was he pulled the Rays out of Tampa.
Or the Marlins out of Miami.
But he would have got it done because that's the kind of guy he was. Almost the opposite of Stan Bowman. You know, a great guy, a ridiculously smart businessman, charismatic, cared about the community, cared about the people, cared about the players, cared about the employees. I cannot say enough great things about Pat Williams, who unfortunately left us this past week.
Yep. Then we have Kansas City Chiefs legend Abner Hayes, the first ever Player of the Year for the old AFL.
Yep, played for Kansas City, 1960 AFL MVP.
Yep. That's going back.
Yep.
So, serious history there.
And you have to give him credit along with a lot of those other AFL players. If they hadn't been as good as they were, people taking notice, and then eventually that forced the merger.
Yep. It led to the Super Bowl.
Yep.
Between the AFL and the NFL, and then you morphed into the NFC AFC after the merger, creating modern football at its finest.
Yep.
So thoughts and prayers to their family and friends.
Yep. So what time is it, Dave?
It's time to pivot.
Well, Dave already knows one of our 6 contestants for the Red Foreman dumbass of the week. We alluded to it way back at the beginning of the show when we were talking about racing.
You could almost pull 2 out of F1.
Well, we'll see here. Let me address this one, and we'll see how you feel about how I've got
We'll
this
see
set
where
up.
we go.
Now, the dumbass contender that I have from F1 is the return of F1 team orders, specifically with McLaren, as Yeah, you got to clean out that spit. What do they call it? The spit reservoir on that thing.
Yeah.
The horn of despair. The horn of disgrace.
Horn of disgrace is working overtime, kids.
Lando Norris ordered to pull over because, God forbid, he went on a different pit strategy.
They pulled him in first to try and hold on to a 1-2 finish for McLaren.
So Lando Norris has to pull over to let Oscar Piastri win his first ever race, win the Hungarian Grand Prix.
The problem with that? Yes, they pulled Norris into the pits first, so he had the tires to take over the lead. He lost it at the beginning because of issues. He didn't get a good start. But Norris is right behind Verstappen in the championship. He came in trailing by 76 points. He left now trailing by 69 points, but could have gained a hell of a lot more because of these, but for these stupid ass team orders. And the paraphrase from McLaren, yes, we know you're running for a championship, but championships are won as a team, not as an individual. Okay, let Pisshead finish second, and Norris, who actually has an outside shot in second place in the points, give him the fucking win to have a chance to close in on Verstappen, who's in the midst of having a fucking hissy fit meltdown. So, fuck you, McLaren. You have no goddamn clue what you're doing on how to run a damn team.
And I can't stand the fact.
Team orders are bullshit. If you wanted Norris shouldn't have had to slow down. He was so far out in front, it wasn't even funny.
Yeah, it's counterintuitive that racing, individual guys and individual cars, but they're owned by the same team, so they have to work together.
It's counterproductive because you want the best driver who's in the best position for the championship to get the win and get max points. This whole business was bullshit.
Yep, absolutely agree. And a very dumbass move.
Absolutely.
All around. Okay, Bengals, legendary, not in the Hall of Fame, but legendary former right tackle, Willie Anderson, has got a bone to pick. And he's going to try to rationalize why he thinks he's not in the Football Hall of Fame. He thinks the movie The Blind Side has created a prejudice saying that left tackles are more valuable than right tackles.
Oh, for the love of God and all that's holy.
I have heard of a lot of excuses in my life for people saying why they didn't get an award, or why they didn't win the contract, or why they didn't get this, or why they didn't get that.
Blaming a fucking movie is the lamest.
Yep.
That is a complete dumbass move.
Willie Anderson says The Blind Side has created the prejudice that left tackle is more valuable than right tackle. Last time I checked, it depends.
Both tackles.
Well, it
were
depends
important.
on whether you got a right-handed quarterback or a left-handed quarterback.
Exactly.
You got to protect the blind side. Okay.
It's so fucking simple a caveman could figure it out.
Dave, we cannot do promos. We cannot do promos for companies, even if we're just joking around. Okay? We're not doing those. They need to pay us if they want us to.
I did not mention anything.
Okay. I'm just giving you a hard time. And again, I'm sick of the Olympics. Can I say that again? I'm sick of the Olympics already, and they haven't even started. This is going to be a great time for the weekend edition for us to catch up on all these movies, because there's not going to be goddamn shit for sports to watch. Our baseball teams suck. No NASCAR.
What the hell else are we going to do but watch movies, try and catch up on TV shows, maybe read a book or two, and play fucking video games?
We got concerts. We do have concerts.
We do have concerts coming up.
But here is the coup de grace of stupidity, of dumbassery. And I've mentioned this in the past, and I've already awarded the idiot a dumbass once. But now it's gone too far. Now it's gone too far. And I'm tired of these stupid-ass celebrities all over the Olympics. Can we take them seriously? Isn't that what we're supposed to do? Battle among the nations. Battle among countries to see who's the best. You know? The agony of defeat, the thrill of victory, Jim McKay, Wide World of Sports, that kind of shit. Right? But no, we got to make it a mockery now with NBA. Kevin Hart and Kenan Thompson and Snoop Dogg will now be one of the final torchbearers.
Why?
Of the Olympic flame.
Why are we not having actual fucking athletes carrying the flame?
They are, but
what? No, this fuck celebrity bullshit.
And you guys know how I feel about Snoop Dogg. I hate that fucker. I hate fucking Snoop Dogg. What the hell is it? Why do we have Cheech and Chong carrying the torch? Each has a hand on it. I'd rather see Cheech and Chong, potheads extraordinaire, maybe Jeff Bridges as Lebowski. But give me some famous pothead other than this idiot Snoop Dogg, who I find has zero charisma, zero talent, yet he's on everything. He's banging Martha Stewart. I don't get it. I hate him. I literally, every time he comes on the TV, I spit on my TV, and I have to get out a paper towel and wipe my TV screen off.
See, I don't have an issue with Snoop Dogg.
Oh,
overall.
I hate him. I hate him.
I have an issue with this bullshit stunt for the Olympics, though.
Okay, who I have an issue with? Non-celebrity, former sports center commentator, a man who I think has already secured his place on the Sports Frenzy Plane of Doom.
Keith Olbermann?
That would be one Keith Olbermann. I don't know if you've heard about these celebrations that happened over the past week. Couple isolated incidents. One with, I believe, a Tampa Bay Rays player, and then one with a handful of St. Louis Cardinals players who actually kind of imitated the whole Trump fight, fist raised in the air thing. Keith Olbermann.
Why does it have to be a Trump thing?
Well, the Rays player said it's not.
Anybody who's ever won does the fist pump. It's not a fucking Trump thing.
Well, Keith Olbermann was so upset with...
Oh, Keith Olbermann's a douchebag extraordinaire.
Well, wait till you hear what he said about the St. Louis Cardinals celebration, because that involved a couple different guys. He says, and I am not kidding you, ban the players, confiscate the Cardinals franchise from Major League Baseball, and implode the stadium.
Hey, Keith Olbermann, how about you shove your own fist up your ass, you fucktard?
Yep. You can do it on the plane of doom, too, because the flight attendants will probably be somebody we hate as well. So they can clean up the mess.
God, I fucking hate that guy.
He is just such a nasty human being. I mean, he goes beyond Robert De Niro. At least Robert De Niro is a talented actor.
Keith Olbermann is a talentless hack.
Him, I would love to, I I would pay, I'll put it out there right now, $50, pay-per-view. I will pay $50, Thunderdome. 2 men enter, 1 man leave. Stephen Colbert versus Keith Olbermann. I'll pay $50 to see it.
They wouldn't know what to do.
But one of them's got to die. One of them's got to die,
They
Dave.
would both be there crying, curled up in the fetal position, not knowing what the hell they're supposed to do.
You would pay $50 to see that. 2 men enter, 1 man leaves. Olbermann versus Colbert. Now, you know one of them's gonna die. Hell yeah, $50.
No,
$50.
we go in, we get 2 other people and put in $12.50 apiece.
Always thinking. Always. The conquistador is always thinking. Yeah. Hell, we'll make it a party. We'll put it on the big screen in the backyard and invite 50 people. $1
Buck a
pop. BYOB.
Hey, I got the inflatable screen and the projector. We're gold, baby.
Seriously, oh my God, I would love to see that. Oh, those 2 idiots.
Oh no, throw Jimmy Kimmel in there too.
Yep, God. Now you're just making it too enticing for me. Too enticing for. Now we got to turn it into like a death race thing.
Oh no, Thunderdome works.
All right.
It's like the battle royale, the ultimate cage match.
Yeah, we put them in a ring. We pick out 20 of these idiots, all men. We'll just do men.
Oh no.
No, but we got the plane of doom. We got the women on the plane of doom.
Yeah, but wouldn't it be fun?
But you put a moat around the ring with like crocodiles and alligators and pythons and, so you throw somebody over the top rope, they're done.
Now you throw in all the top 10 venomous everything out of Australia in the moat around.
There you go. There you go. See what happens when you let our minds run wild, kids? We're not even done yet.
It's not a good thing.
We still got 2 more. We got 2 more to go.
We're just over halfway.
Oh, God, Dave. We can't get rid of these idiots either. And shame on General Mills, by the way, for condoning and supporting this. Coming out in September from General Mills in your cereal aisle. The Kelce mix.
Oh, God.
And they can't even come up with a brand new cereal. The Kelce mix will feature an equal parts Lucky Charms, Reese's Puffs, and Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
That is the most disgusting combination you could possibly fucking think of.
I can't.
No.
Those 3 in the same bag mixed together?
No.
But the idiot Kelce's think it's awesome.
Yeah, that's the problem. They're idiots.
This is a personal message to Taylor Swift.
Get out while you can.
Yeah, you know where to find me. You know where to find me. Dave's spoken for. You know where to find me. When you get tired of that idiot, that meathead, come over to the dark side, baby. Come over here. We'll have some fun. Then finally, our final contender. More Olympic stuff. The Canadian women's soccer team had to send home an assistant coach and an analyst as they were getting ready to play New Zealand. And this is the team, by the way, the Canadian women's soccer team that won the gold medal the last Olympics.
And now we know why.
They send home the assistant coach and the analyst for sending a drone
over New Zealand's practice. and now also Canada's head coach is recusing herself
Yep.
from coaching in that game.
Yep. Unbelievable. What, you didn't
Come
think
on.
anybody would see the drone?
Have you not heard of Spygate with the Patriots?
So let's recap here before we wrap up Sports Frenzy 2.0 for the week. Your 6 contestants for Dumbass of the Week.
Team McLaren.
Team McLaren, Snoop Dogg, Keith Olbermann, Bengals former right tackle Willie Anderson, the Canadian women's soccer team, and the idiot Kelce brothers in their cereal.
Oh, God.
This is a tough one.
It is.
Because team orders in F1 have been around forever.
And they're still stone stupid.
Now, I personally hate Snoop Dogg, but you seem to like him. Olbermann every week.
Yeah.
I could pick as a dumbass.
General Mills and the Kelce brothers, because that's just a fucking disgusting combination.
That is a terrible combination. I'm torn between the other two left. I am torn. I got to go with the Canadian women's soccer team just because how stupid do you have to be to try to spy on a soccer practice with a drone? It's not like it's new technology. Like you said, we know about this from Spygate. We've seen this stuff before. People aren't going to look up in the sky and go, oh, look, a drone. It must be harmless.
Click, click, boom.
Skeet shooting practice. So there you go, kids. Dave takes the Kelce mix. That horrendous.
Disgusting abomination.
Lucky Charms, Reese's Puffs, and Cinnamon Toast Crunch mixed together.
God. I don't even like Cinnamon Toast Crunch, and I don't like Reese's Puffs. Why are you ruining Lucky Charms?
See, now I'd go the exact opposite. I say Lucky Charms is the one ruining everything. I would take the other two.
Not together.
Lucky Charms is the worst cereal ever made.
Reese's
Oh my
Puffs.
God.
Ugh.
I love Reese's Puffs.
You would.
I don't want to get into cereal wars with you. Cinnamon Toast Crunch, it's okay.
No.
But Lucky Charms, oh my God. Next thing you're going to tell me you like Trixes for kids.
No, if we go that, I'm taking Fruity Pebbles.
I don't want any of them. I hate the fruity crap cereals. Nobody beats Captain Crunch, the original Captain Crunch. Greatest ever.
I do like the Crunch Berries, though.
What is it with you and the fruity stuff?
It adds a little extra.
It sucks. It's awful. You know I don't like fruit.
Well, then we go with the classic grape nuts.
Grape nuts? I might as well scrape up some gravel from the side of the road, put it in a bowl, and put milk on it. Grape nuts?
All right.
I'm surprised I didn't chip a tooth anytime I ate grape nuts.
The best cereal that's no longer around?
Quisp.
No, CW Post.
Oh my God. Oh my God. CW Post.
You had all the goodness. You had the oats, the almonds. It was just glorious.
Ooh, almonds were in it. If almonds were in it, I'm there.
Yeah,
I'm down with
CW
that.
Post was the best, and they discontinued it.
Now, Quisp was just basically a knockoff of Captain Crunch.
Right. That wasn't as crunchy.
Right. And I didn't like any of the monster cereals, because, again, it's all fruity stuff. Count Chocula.
No blueberry.
No,
Frankenberry.
God. And Cheerios is what you feed to a horse.
Yeah. No, Cheerios are what you use when you're toilet training your sons. And give them a target to shoot for.
There you go, kids. There's our 5-minute discourse.
Wow, how the hell did we...
Don't forget to check out the weekend edition. I promise we won't be talking about cereal. We'll be talking about the new Deep Purple album, Equals One. We will wrap up season 4 of The Boys. We will review Abigail. And then we'll have a whole bunch of other fun stuff.
Yep, you never know where we're going.
But don't forget your Saturday morning hangover cure coming here July the 27th.
And if you don't like that stuff, we'll see you back here in another week.
Yep, last day, taping last day of July, dropping early on August the 1st, another sports edition of Sports Frenzy 2.0. He's your Uncle Dave.
He's your Uncle Kev.
Say goodnight to the kids, Dave.
Good night to the kids, Dave.